to do a madman in a world that's gone mad video today. I was on Facebook and I started writing a very long and winded response that'll never be fucking taken seriously. Because Facebook is not a place to do things or say things that are meant to be taken seriously. It is a shithole. The Barron's chat of modern society. Just an absolute shit show of depravity. And I sometimes forget that all my people can see my shit. And sometimes I don't care. So I don't comment on my own shit. I just comment on shit that I see. So if you're in the same group as me, well, you get a earful sometimes. And today, this guy, or this girl, I didn't actually see who the fuck it was, this is some shit about, that's what it was. There's an article on the Daily Kos. My dad loves the Daily Kos. And it says, what is the Democratic Party's problem with men? And what can we do to fix it? Well, some old jackass in there. Have you tried opening a book? That's the problem. These people are uneducated. Don't think that's the issue. I don't think that is going to win the argument. Particularly when the institutes of education themselves should now be called into question. They're based on old, archaic information. The world is changing. Information is changing at a rate that it's never changed before. It's never moved before. It's exponential. I am a Gen Xer. And I have the unique life experience that I was raised in a time before the information age, when knowledge was truly behind a gatekeeper of some sort. Or at least it was much more difficult to acquire. You have no idea if you've never experienced it. If you are a older millennial or later, the internet has always been at your fingertips. And that's the real difference between that generation and all the other ones before it. And it shares with all the generations since. That now, I can just pick up this phone and learn a fair amount. A very fair amount. You could argue that you can easily educate yourself as well as nearly any college just with the internet and the willingness to pay for some of the content on it. And if you start saying things like, well, you gotta pay for college, that's what they're... Well, yeah, but you pay like $40,000, $50,000, $80,000, $90,000 for a college degree. If you're paying $90,000 for a college degree, you should be able to entertain the idea that through other means you can get it for $5,000. If you're, that educated, and you're like, well, these people aren't accredited. Maybe yes, maybe no, actually. A lot of people move on from professional careers and teach, whether it be at a famous college or now on the internet. I might argue private lessons have been a thing that have been around since the dawn of time. There was a crazy old lady in Nevada running for senator that once was kind of chastised for having the idiotic idea that, we could barter for everything. And not to say, I think bartering's great, but she started talking about, in some way or another, chickens for healthcare, as the adage went at the time. And yeah, that made for a great political ad. And I'm not advocating for that. But people have, since the beginning of time, traded with one another. And it is only recently that the government has truly been not just a participant, but the framework for doing so. And I will say, it makes life easier. It's a lot easier for me to price a widget. I make signs. I have a little business that I do. And it's a lot easier for me to make a sign and say, this sign right here is going to be $75. This one's going to be $100. Right? It's a lot easier for me to say that than for me to be like, well, let's see here. You've got 14 chickens, and I could sell a chicken for... But I don't really know anybody who sells chickens, so what am I going to do with this fucking thing? I have to find somebody that likes chickens, and I'm going to have to, figure out how to get payment out of the chickens. And that, too, has... My time has a value, so therefore, that time has a value. And if it's cheaper than taxes... but if it's not, let the government take care of it. And I think that becomes one of the factors that really allows for the system to continue. And in every way, in between nations as well. It's a lot easier to run on the dollar. Good old USA is number one. So, back to the question at hand. What can Democrats do to save the white vote? I am a lifelong Democrat. My dad was a Democrat. My grandma's a Democrat. My mom was a Democrat. I've campaigned for every Democratic president since John Kerry, with the exception of Kamala fucking Harris and Tampon Tim. Nope. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent. And they both lost. And I have campaigned for more losing campaigns than I have won. Just the way it is. I went out for Biden, I think. I don't know. I don't know that I did, actually. And that's a shame, because I really like Joe Biden. I voted for him instead of Barack Obama in the primaries that year. It wasn't an easy choice. But man, Joe's just... He's got the gift of gab, man. It's Joe. Old Grandpa Joe. He could smile, talk, and shake your hand from Scranton. It's hard to... I didn't think the country was ready for a black guy. I really liked what he had to say. I did not think the country was ready for a black guy. And even though he got elected, I stand by what I said. Obviously, because that's how we got Trump. And I think here's the problem with the Democratic Party. They got what they wanted. They got the first black president elected. And he was fucking fantastic. Best president of my lifetime. By a mile. Stared down Putin. Didn't say he was I could see his heart. Now, that said, he did say, oh, make a little deal afterwards, bullshit. And that wasn't good. Pales in comparison to what Mr. Orange fucking does with Putin. But He stared him right in his fucking eyes. American strength, peace through strength. Trump's right about that. He just doesn't. He doesn't embody it. What can Democrats do to regain the male vote? They have to grow a spine. Honestly, the Democratic economic policies regarding upper class wealth and taxation are right on the money. There's not, when you are in a position that your time makes, your money makes money, even without your time, it puts you at a much greater economic position than those who cannot. And therefore, since you aren't adding much more effort, risk sure, but effort no. And when you really think that anything over a certain amount, and it's not much, of wealth, doesn't really change the way you live too much. It's a bell curve. It's a bell curve, you know. You're way up there, and it comes down, and not so much anymore. It's still great. Yeah, you get a little shit. It's nothing. It's not infinitely zero, but it gets closer and closer the more money. Elon Musk is worth what? Oh, I don't remember. Is it 30 or 300? I think he's worth about 300 billion right now. I'm probably way off. And the difference between 150 and 300 is nothing. There's nothing that he can acquire in his life that is of benefit beyond status with the other assholes that have all that money. So yeah, tax the shit out of them. Tax the shit out of them. That's a democratic thing. People deserve basic human rights, health care. It's a democratic thing. Old people deserve Social Security. For fuck's sake, what are they going to do? What are we going to do when our old people don't have Social Security? We're going to box them up and ship them off to some retirement home? Throw them out of their house? And we already have like a housing problem in this country where we have all these empty houses that are abandoned, burned up, and a homeless issue as it is on top of that. And we're gonna take away money from old people. And then their health, and then their pills and things. It's just crazy. Just bleed them dry at the twilight of their lives. And then say, that's not enough. I don't understand what grandma's supposed to do. Right? Mine, with the grace of God, lives with her daughter. And they have, they take care of her. Where would she be without that? I would take her in. I've got steps, though. It'd be hard for her. And you really think that's what she wants? She doesn't deserve to just have, like, her own shit. Like, oh, you're old now. It's time to move in with your kids. Why don't the elderly have the honor of self, the dignity, self-dignity? Why are they afforded self-dignity in their twilight years? And we ought to be the ones, since we are the ones who are strong. We are the working class. We are the hunter-gatherers. It is incumbent upon us to care for those who can't themselves. And that used to be a core democratic principle, and I think that it still is. But the problem is that the party has moved so far away from that and into identity politics and divisive cancel culture shit that the difference between where Democrats and Republicans are on social issues is so much greater than what it is between economic issues, that the social issues become more of a detriment, more of an issue, more of a reason not to vote for them than the economic ones are too. And I don't think the Democratic Party appreciates that. I firmly believe that people of all race should have the exact same rights. I think it is a terrible injustice when a judge looks at a black guy and sees, or a cop, and sees a criminal just because he's black. Or vice versa, lets a white guy off because he's white. And I am not so blind as to say that doesn't happen. Probably happens all the time. There are definitely disparages in the way people are treated. But I don't think that the differences are as pronounced as they were. And I think it's important to recognize that while there is still a gap between where we ought to be and where we are, that the gain that we've made from the days in which we first even recognized it as an issue, let alone the depths of it, the depths of the depravity of it. I think by not recognizing that gain, by focusing on the gap and not recognizing the gain, we actually do less for the cause. And it's okay to say that. Here's the problem with progressivism. They never take the win. Got the black president, got gay marriage, got abortion, want to keep going. If gays can get married. And here's the problem with the transgender issue. Number one, it's not science-based. Number two, it is a mental health thing. It's a form of psychosis. It is what it is. But that's not the issue. The issue truly is that it infringes on the liberty of every person that they interact with, particularly when they force them to refer to them in a way that the person speaking feels is disingenuous. I know you're a boy, and you are going to get upset with me because I call you a girl. Why is it incumbent upon me to say to you something that may or may not hurt your feelings? Why is it incumbent upon me to protect your feelings? If I were to wear a sign like in Die Hard 3, and they make, oh, I hate niggers. Oh, I'll probably get banned for that. The exact same thing would happen. I would get beat up because even though that guy was forced to do it at gunpoint, the people around him who were black can't help but see it. And even if you're not doing it by choice, you're still doing it. You're still the guy with the sign. What are they going to do? Not pretend they don't see it? Pretend that that they don't exist in this reality? Or that their reality is different? Or maybe they'll convince themselves that the sign says something it does not say. 2 + 2 = 5. And that way the guy's allowed to stay there. The word means something different now. For me, it's a bridge too far. Far too far. And the party is just gung-ho for this 1%. This used to be 0.25%, is now 1% of the population that identifies as transgender. Which is weird because... Actually, it's not weird. It is particularly skewed because if you were to divide that by age group, that number is going to be a J curve for sure. It's a shame. These poor, confused kids. And it's always in the families that have the most problems. That's how you know it's a mental health thing. My kids used to kill themselves beforehand, and kids still do. But that's the proof. It's a mental health thing. And you can't force me to change or to believe what you do. That is not the way that is not the way it works. That is not freedom. That is fascism. And it is not what this country stands for. It is not one of the core tenets of the Democratic Party, what it used to be. And the thing is, immigration's a problem. Democrats are always in search of a underserved minority that just grab their little chat boxes and make pronouncements on Facebook about. Make themselves feel good because they did something good, or that they feel a strong way about someone who's in a bad position. And then I'll go off on the guy at Burger King for getting their fucking chicken nuggets wrong. It's all facade, designed to make them feel better about themselves. The Dreamers Act was the thing Obama tried to get through. The people in this country who are already in this country, particularly kids that were brought across the border, No fault of their own. They just grew up here, got jobs. They're Americans, buy everything but paper. Give them citizenship, or at least give them a pathway to it. I'm actually even more wild than that. I say, you know what? If they're here, let me stop there. Lock the border. Shut it down. It's done. Lock it. Nobody gets back in. I would like to see camps, honestly. FEMA camps on the opposite side of the gate that are there for refugees to take asylum and all the things that they want to do. And we'll have a court system. We'll have judges down there and lawyers for them and all the things. And we will have private private detectives. Hell, we'll send some to all these little countries in our embassies. We can start hiring people in foreign nations to do some background checks. Probably already do this shit. Let's put some money into it. That's what Democrats do. They like to spend money. And we check these stories out. We make this stuff more efficient. Shouldn't take a year to figure out whether or not you deserve. Maybe a year to figure out whether or not you deserve asylum. It shouldn't take 5. But you don't get to go wandering around the country while we figure it out either. That's done. Everybody who's in the country right now, congratulations. You've got a get out of jail free card today. That's it. You get one. We have a whole bunch of little kiosks. We get everybody on the records. We give them some time. 6 months. You got 6 months. Get registered. Maybe after 6 months, all this Trump shit. Let's kick them out the country. Got to go. Got to go. That's my position. And here's the problem. Okay? The Democrats probably agree with 9/10 of what I just said. Up until I was like, oh, you got to go. Or the FEMA camps. It's probably 75% of what I just said. Republicans probably agree with 50. And they don't like the part about people here can stay here if you go through the things. But man, if you get them legal, then it kind of is okay. But yeah, keep them out of the country. All that stuff. So the Democrats are going to agree with about 75% of what I say. The Republicans are going to agree with about 50, or maybe even 75. Because they just disagree with the different part. But they like all the stuff about locking up the border, not letting them come in, especially while you're on asylum and getting them out of the country. If Right, all that shit, yeah. So I thought the Dreamers Act was a pretty good thing about it. Now here's the problem the Democrats have. That wasn't the Dreamers Act, by the way. That was a little further. That was my idea. Here's the problem the Democrats have. Trump comes in. And he does 50% of the stuff. He didn't do all the nice, warm shit that I had in my little FEMA camps and opportunity to get your kids registered and yada, yada, yada. He does the other shit. Just get them out, lock the gate, shut the door, kick them out, and shut the door. Okay. So, here's the problem. Guy comes into your house. Your neighbor breaks into your house, sits on your couch, starts watching TV. Look, motherfucker, you got to go. I didn't say you come in here. What the fuck you doing in my house? Oh, my ex-wife's crazy. She just kicked me out. I can't stay there, dude. I'm gonna go to jail. Blah blah blah. All right, but what are you doing in my house? Come on, man. I just need a place to crash for a little bit. Sits on your couch. You're like, man, you have no idea if this is real or not. The guy's just sitting on your damn couch, and you did not give him permission to be there. Yeah. There's 2 ways you can handle it. Obviously, you can either let the guy stay, crash there, and kick him out of your house, one way or another. But you're certainly not going to just let him roam around forever for as long as he feels like. You have to have there has to be resolution. Just let them move in. You're not going to do that. You're not just going to let them move in. Now